when we look at the insurance industry, and we look across really any industry, we look at what are the biggest disruptors. And fundamentally, it's mobile. It certainly disrupted our business. When we went public in 2012, prior to going public, we had no mobile revenues. We really didn't have a master plan in terms of how we were going to monetize mobile, but we knew that's where the users were coming. So we quickly rallied around the fact that we needed to be a mobile-first company. And today, nearly 80% of our revenue comes from mobile advertising. I would say the same thing for the insurance category, the insurance industry. When carriers look to plan out what their roadmap looks like for the next 5 to 10 years, you really have to have an omnichannel presence. And at the very foundation of that, mobile is it. You need to be where the consumers are and where they want to interact with you. So being able to handle a phone call, handling an email, or being able to be accessible on a mobile device is going to be very critical to their success. Because ultimately you have to go where the consumers are. And when you look at the time spent on a mobile device today, very significant. And it's important that they need to make sure that they're ahead of the curve and staying relevant and servicing their customers in the way that they want to be serviced. We have the fortunate opportunity to work with many carriers. And when we talk to them about their visions, oftentimes the fact that they want to be mobile first is certainly something that comes up. It's one thing to be speaking about it. It's another thing to actually making it a priority and integrating that into the core of your organization's DNA. So going back to my previous example around Facebook, everybody does mobile. We retrained the engineers how to program for mobile devices. It's not a separate team. So my point here is there's a lot of talk about it. We see many carriers investing in it, but it really has to transcend the organization and make sure that everybody's on the same page. So when people are building experiences, consumer experiences, and they're strictly focusing on desktop or strictly focusing on call center or whatever that might be, really having mobile at the core is going to be critical for their success. I think what distinguishes carriers who actually talk the talk around mobile versus actually taking action is those carriers that are able to move fast, be nimble, make decisions in a quick manner, and at the very core, have product release cycles on a regular basis. There are times when we talk to carriers where we're talking about potentially integrating a line of code into their app to integrate more into Facebook, and there's a lot of interest there. But the answer that we get is, well, our next release cycle isn't for another 8 months. And the ability for those carriers to speed up those release cycles so they're able to innovate and iterate as well in a more succinct manner is certainly a variable that we see of those carriers who are actually not just talking the talk, but actually taking action. Many insurance executives and the C-suite and board of directors have expressed an interest in visiting Facebook, our campus in Menlo Park. And oftentimes, it's not necessarily to talk about the things that you would think, but they want to come and experience the culture, and they want to understand the DNA of the organization. In many cases, we have just as much to learn from these partners and these carriers as hopefully they do from us. They've been around a lot longer than us. Mark started the company in 2004. That's when Facebook started. So there's pieces of their culture that's really interesting to us, but they asked to visit our campus and meet with different leaders within the organization, from product teams to engineering to human resources to leadership, to understand what has made us as a company successful. over the past several years. And the one takeaway that we always try to share is that we can talk to you all day around what makes Facebook unique and how we're able to iterate and move fast. But at the end of the day, each one of these companies has something really unique in their culture. And when you go back to your organizations, it's not about how can you be more like Facebook, it's how can you be more like the company that has made you so successful today. We talk to a lot of partners and a lot of senior leaders within the carriers ask us how can they stay relevant. Oftentimes these organizations were started in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And what we talk about are a couple of things. One, culture, right? It has to start from within. Two, sometimes the ability to make decisions faster than you typically do. Three, continue to bring new life into the organization, right? New perspectives. And that doesn't necessarily mean somebody from outside the organization, but that also can mean somebody from a different department. And then also just a willingness to take some chances. And we know by definition, these are risk-averse organizations, so we respect that and appreciate it. But there are certainly ways to make decisions with leadership support that may allow them to stay more relevant and more top of mind and take some risks, calculated risks, that will put them in a position to succeed.